Gachiakuta has been airing for a minute now, and hey, I don't want to jump the gun and say it, but this anime is shaping up to be one of the best to come out this whole year, and 2025 has been a good year for anime as well, so this is not some light achievement. But what is it that makes me love this anime so much? Well, let me give you a little rundown on what this anime is really about. The first episode sets the theme and the world with this major social class divide, with the poor people on one side and the rich people on the other side. It starts off with this rich family and this little kid throwing away a toy because it's ripped, and it's like that toy means nothing to them, you know, they can just get a new one. But then we cut to the opposite side where we see this kid dumpster diving, and his name is Rudo, the main character. So this anime makes it clear how divided this world is within two scenes. It's black and white, rich and poor, no in between. One side hates trash and literally opens fire on poor people for dumpster diving, whereas this is what the main character has to do to survive. And this becomes even more obvious with that big wall between them. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I saw this scene, it immediately reminded me of those pictures I used to see in geography class of slums right next to massive buildings, like in India for example. And this is just such a great way to open the show, demonstrating so early the divide between social classes and showing how badly the poor people are treated, because the rich side literally refer to these people like they're trash. They don't want to see them or even be near them. But the truth is, this side of the wall was set up for criminals, and we're talking criminals way back in the past, and their families have been stuck on this side ever since. So the descendants of those criminals now have to suck up to the clean side. But even in the outcast side of society, Rudo is more outcast than everyone else, and that's because his dad was like some bad criminal back in the day, so everyone kind of just looks at him like, we know you're going to be a criminal too, we just can't prove it yet. And Rudo also sticks out like a sore thumb among everyone else because he's the only character who's wearing these massive gloves, and these little kids bully him because of his hands. Low-key, I don't blame them though. Damn, his hands are messed up. Listen, I'm not trying to violate my man, but come on, his hands look crazy. There's also this massive pit next to the slums which criminals get tossed into when they do bad things. It serves as a reminder to the people in the slums that if they break the law, they'll get tossed in there. But yeah, Rudo's talking to this girl named Chiwa, and he gives her this puppy toy that he fixed up when he stole it from the dumpster. But yeah, Rudo's on his way back home because he wants to go talk to his adoptive dad. His name is Regto, because obviously he's excited, you know, he gave a little toy to his crush, he's feeling himself. But then when he gets home, he sees that Regto has been stabbed by someone, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw this scene coming from a mile off. And plus, this is the only family he has left, so it just makes it even more sad. But what's worse is some guards from the other side of the wall known as apostles see Rudo and immediately assumes he's the one who killed Regto, but the real killer already fled the scene. And to dunk on Rudo even more, word spread like wildfire, and now everyone in the slums thinks that he killed Regto. But as he's suspected of murder, they do not give him a fair trial. He's gonna be sent into the pit, and Rudo knows nobody is gonna believe that he did not kill him. But Regto was the person who raised him, like that's his family, and the only person who would even give him a chance to explain himself is Chiwa, and he tries to call out for her, but even she rejects him and drops that puppy toy on the floor. So literally everything that could have gone wrong went wrong within such a short amount of time as well. And it's becoming even more clear that people in the slums are really just shadows of those who come before them. And at this point, Rudo has every right to crash out at everyone. He's been done so dirty. I don't blame him for vowing to take revenge against the whole slums. But yeah, he falls into the pit, and most people die as soon as they get there, but somehow he survives, and he wakes up and finds that it's like a whole nother world out here with some giant monster that starts chasing him. Anyways, episode 2 starts off with him fighting some monsters, and his gloves start activating. It looks like he has some power, but then he gets helped by this guy named Engine, who gives him a mask and explains that these trash beasts are made from trash, and to fight them they use special weapons called vital instruments. And he also makes it known that the pit isn't some hellhole, but it's still above ground and a part of the real world, because it was created by the people above. Anyways, Engine takes Rudo to some place with other people, and they don't seem to be from the same place as him, because they refer to Rudo as a spherite because of his clothes, and they seem really friendly. But then they just capture him and put him in the back of a van to be sold. So there must be some economy going around this place for people like him, but they aren't doing this for no reason. It's because they hate his people. Damn, my boy Rudo cannot catch a break. No matter where he goes, he's hated and considered trash. Even in a place like this, the underbelly of society, where it's full of trash, he is the lowest trash, and they just want to kill him, and they force him to eat some nasty food because these people see Rudo as a stuck-up spherite. But they couldn't be more wrong, because Rudo has been suffering way worse before he came down. We also learn that objects in this show have their own souls if taken care of long enough. Like for example, that old teddy bear or like a stick. If those objects are looked after, they have their own energy, and that's why Rudo's gloves have power, because he's been looking after them for a long time. And so he uses that power to beat up all these guys for trying to kidnap him, and Engine's just watching in the distance like, yeah, I knew this guy was a natural. Very suspicious, but we'll find out later what that really means. So yeah, episode 3 starts off with an explanation of what's really going on with his hands. So Engine tells Rudo that emotions, or anima, builds up and sometimes converts into energy, and as a consequence they often form trash beasts, and so anima needs to be dealt with anima, fighting fire with fire in a way, because those specialty items I was talking about, the vital instruments, they also have anima, and vital instruments exist when someone special comes along who can draw out the energy from objects. We call those kind of people givers. And after Engine explains this, some random cat comes and steals Rudo's money, and while he's chasing it, he picks up this stick in the alleyway to catch it. But that stick was this guy's, and his name is Zaka. He's a part of the Cleaners, which are an organization of givers who deal with trash beasts, and that stick is a vital instrument. And at first, Rudo was super defensive because he didn't think or know that this stick was important, but upon reflection, he apologized for taking it. And I know most people are probably overlooking this scene, but I actually like that he apologized. It's only been 3 episodes and he's already starting to develop as a character based on lessons he was taught by his adoptive father, and so he was able to defuse the situation with Zaka without even leading to any violence. And he's also trying to be more in tune with his emotions, but god damn, what is that smile? Like, I know you're not in tune with your emotions yet, Rudo, but come on, surely you know how to smile. He even tries again, but it just makes everything worse. And because he looks so creepy, Zaka tries to fight him, so Rudo picks up this plunger that's in the alleyway, but that thing was covered in straight dookie, and Zaka's not trying to get touched by that, so he starts running away. But unfortunately for him, he can't get away fast enough, and Rudo flings that thing at him. Yeah, that scene was nasty. I don't even know what's going on right now. Anyways, Engine goes to pick them up, and we get introduced to Rio, another cleaner, and she's playing with his hair and everything. My boy Rudo already has a new love interest. We never liked Chiwa anyways. In episode 4, Engine takes them all to Cleaners HQ, and this girl Semiyu uses her vital instrument to analyze Rudo, showing that he has great potential, and they want to go meet the boss to introduce Rudo and make him an official cleaner. But the boss isn't around right now, so he can't become an official member yet. So instead, they decide to take him on a shadowing mission to a polluted zone, because in this world there are safe zones and polluted zones, and polluted zones have a lot of trash beasts. When they get there, they find one, and we get to see Rio's instrument, and it's some scissors which she uses with her feet, which is pretty cool. And as Rudo is observing, he realizes that he needs to work as a team to make it work out here, because right now he just wants to use the Cleaners to find a way to get out of the pit and get back and get his revenge on everyone. But that's not going to work, because he's realized to survive out here and to really thrive, he needs a team. Then we see Rio taking on this big trash beast, but mid-battle, Rudo freezes up because he's feeling useless right now for not having a good grasp on his powers. Fortunately enough though, Rio saves the day, but when she destroyed that trash beast, it was being powered by a vital instrument, which is very suspicious because that never happens. Anyways, in episode 5, there's a welcome party for Rudo, and he's feeling pretty down after yesterday's mission because he feels as if he let everyone down. Then this guy comes to talk to him and lets him know that no matter how minor he thinks his role was or how small the job was that he screwed up, they're all important, and he's thankful because support cleaners in the group who aren't givers usually don't get much respect, but Rudo went out of his way to protect them. We then cut to another scene. Remember that guy from episode 2 who tried to kidnap Rudo? Well, he's being tortured by some mystery man for information regarding Rudo, and this mystery man is trying to collect information about the Spherite people. Anyway, Semiyu sends a few other cleaners on another job because apparently there's another Spherite out there in a polluted site. So the cleaners travel to this polluted site, and then they encounter this weird girl who comes to guide them where the Spherite is supposed to be, but it was actually a trap. I don't know how they didn't see this coming. This was like the most obvious trap. But then this group of people known as raiders come to try and capture Rudo because he's the Spherite that they really want. So some of the cleaners leave with Rudo while Zaka stays back to fight, and he's having a hard time because he's fighting a 2v1, but really he was just holding back, so he locks in and beats them both in one hit. So while the cleaners are trying to escape with Rudo, they end up running into this guy who blocks the exit. His name is Jabba, and his locks are tough by the way, but not to be that guy. Why is he not black? It's not that deep, it's just slightly confusing when there's already other black characters in the show, so why not just make him black? I'm just a bit confused, you know. But anyways, this guy has some venom instrument, and he's also a great fighter because he's working these guys with minimal effort. And then the supporter tries to jump in and save Rudo from this guy, but he gets put down immediately. Damn, that was cold though, I'm not gonna lie. Jabba even said some sick line like the weak are worth less than the stain they leave behind. After this, there's a long flashback with Regto and Rudo, and Regto is trying to find some stuff that interests Rudo, and for some reason the only thing that really interests him is the trash that's been thrown out, and Rudo gets upset because that trash was still in good condition and worth restoring. And I don't know why this scene was put right here. It did feel a bit corny, like he's literally crying because someone threw something away. It's not that deep, little bro. Like, we get that you care, but there are better ways to portray it rather than this, because it's not as if us viewers can really resonate with this scene. But after this, we cut back to the present, and we find out that Rudo's power isn't in any one instrument specifically, like his gloves for example, but his power is that he cares about all the trash and can draw out anima from them. So basically he can make anything into a vital instrument. So this guy Jabba and Rudo get to scrapping, and Rudo turns a talisman one of the supporters had into a vital instrument, and with that talisman he's able to direct Jabba's movements away from himself. So it's like the perfect defense, but it's not great for offense, which means he has to get creative and starts using it to predict Jabba's movements and counter him with real punches. So Jabba tries to complicate his movements and move way faster to try and catch Rudo off guard, but it just isn't enough, and Rudo manages to evade him again and again and again. So in a last-ditch attempt, Jabba stabs himself with his own vital instrument because the poison that he uses will help negate the hostile intent from being detected by the talisman, because that's what the talisman was doing. It can detect hostile intent and direct it away from Rudo. So by using the poison, he disguises his own hostile intent. It's a pretty smart plan, I can't lie. But now he's way too much for Rudo to handle all on his own. Jabba's moving erratically, got spit all up on his mouth, it's flying everywhere. It's pretty nasty to be honest, but hey, it's effective, so I can't hate too much. And the animation in this fight is pretty good as well, I must say. And right as Rudo is about to get sliced, my guy Zaka comes in clutch. So while Jabba's on the floor, Zaka and Rudo come up with a plan to take out Jabba in this state. So Zaka strikes at Rudo, and the talisman moves Zaka in front of Jabba, allowing him to get a clean hit on him. Now I gotta pause real quick and say, I'm still confused at why this works. Like, why is the talisman instrument specifically able to move Zaka right where he needs to be? Shouldn't it just be moving him out the way to protect Rudo? I have no idea. If anyone can explain to me, let me know. But anyway, Zaka is able to beat Jabba with the help of the talisman, and then it just fades away. RIP talisman. But then Rudo stops moving because Jabba got him with his poison during the rampage, and Jabba gets up and is able to capture Rudo. So he starts making his way out of there, but unluckily for Jabba, the cleaners were waiting for him outside and deal with him pretty quickly. They want to take him in for questioning, but this other raider comes out of nowhere and takes Jabba away, saying that the goon squad is on their way. Hey, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. That's very sus. But then they just disappear through some portal. I don't know where they've gone, but to be honest, this was a very good first fight, and I'm excited to see their rematch, since Rudo wants to get revenge on Jabba anyways. Rudo goes to visit Gris in the hospital. He was the supporter who helped save Rudo, and while they're in the hospital, the boss finally shows up, and his name is Arca Corvus. He gives Rudo some fresh garms and tells him a story about the border, aka the gap between the Spherite realm and where they are right now. Arca says that a traveler once upon a time was in no man's land, close to the border, when he came across a woman who was living there, which was very weird because this place was nowhere a person should be living. And it turns out that this woman was living there because she wanted to watch people falling from the sphere realm, but also to observe those who would come and go as they please. And this story was important because if people are coming and going as they please, it means that Rudo has hope that he can find someone who can help him cross the border. So Rudo decides to try and find this woman, and Engine decides to help him. But before that, they decide to go back to HQ and relax. Later outside, they do some training to try and improve Rudo's control over his power, and they're able to get him to improve a little bit. But the problem right now is that Rudo always crashes after activating a vital instrument too many times. They also figure out that Rudo's power is focused on recycling. Like, he's able to take items thrown away and give them a second life, bringing out all the anima inside of them in one fell swoop. And once they fulfill their purpose in battle, they fade away, just like the talisman. But as of recording this video, that's all that's been released of Gachiakuta right now. And since I've pretty much been glazing it this whole video saying how much I like it, I will say there's a few things I don't like about the show. Number one is that they don't understand the concept of show and don't tell. Everything is explained and it doesn't really allow us to figure out for ourselves what's going on. So it kind of lacks mystery in that way, which ties into the fact that even though this show has a lot of mystery going on, the mystery of those concepts are limited, which I don't really like, because it would make for a more interesting watch if we were trying to figure out what's going on rather than it just being handed to us. For example, cool concepts like the pit and the Spherite realm are really cool concepts but overly simplified, and the world building in the show is so unique, but then it just has such simple team names and villains like raiders, cleaners, givers. I don't know, there's just no spice to it right now. I hope that changes in later episodes. But that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this show. If you haven't watched it already, make sure you check it out. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.